Hi, this is Matt from Coursensu, and this is Getting Started with Your First Learning Design. By the end of this short video, you'll be able to create content items, set the pedagogy or the teaching method, organize them in sections, and visually organize them by color and by position in your design canvas. And hopefully this will give you everything you need to get going. So we start from where we log in. We've got no designs in this area, so we'll click on Start here. And the only thing you have to start with is a name, and you can change it later. So let's just put Learning Coursensu. First design. You've got a few more options, but to get going, we'll just select Start. It takes a few seconds to create the design, but it will also navigate you to the canvas, which is where we do our learning design. So here we are, we've created a design and we've got by default the first section and the first content item in our design as well. And this is like the equivalent of a sticky post-it note that you might put on the wall or you might use in platforms like Miro. And at this point, what we do is we just describe at the high level what's going to happen at this stage in the learning experience. So we could put introduction, and that's often enough, but we can elaborate on that further. But to start off with, let's have an introduction, and we can click on this plus icon, and we can add a few more items. So let's just put item 2, item 3, just to speed up a bit. Now I might decide actually that item 3 needs to go in a different position. I can just pick with drag and drop and just move this to anywhere I want. And it's as simple as just dragging and dropping. So once we've added a few items, maybe we want to change our section. We can just click it and call it, let's say, warm up. And we can continue as we want to, adding more items, moving them around, putting them where we want. If I go to the left-hand toolbar, the second icon down is where we can choose what we're adding to our learning design. We've been adding content items, but to give it some structure, let's add another section. So you can add sections anywhere. The more sections you have, the more you can add them into any point in the design. I've just got a spacer here to add a new one. So let's just call it section 2, not very imaginative. If I push enter, by default, I also get a content item. But you'll see here also the content item is a different color. You can actually organize any of the items by color to help you visually determine, maybe by the activity type or a wrap of the beginning and the end of the week or the topic or the section, whatever you want to use the colors for. They may even be used to designate who's going to be working on something. There are other ways to do that, but sometimes color can be a quick way to navigate your eyes towards the things that are most important. So what else can we do in here? Well as the high-level description, what we can do is we can define what happens at each stage in the learning experience. And for that, we use the top toolbar. So for example, let's make this a discussion. What happens is as I start typing, I've got options here, including my browser option. I've got options here from the large collection of built-in Coursensu methods of the types of discussions I could have. Introductory discussion would be quite useful here. If I want to find out more about that, I can just click on this little expansion and get a very brief overview, or I can go into the Methods Explorer and I can read all about this type of learning method. I think introductory discussion works quite well here, so I'll choose that. And second of all, I'll just choose a duration. So we'll make this a fairly brief task for our learners. What I'm doing, however, is I'm starting to articulate the richer detail of what will take place in this introductory discussion so that I can get an at-a-glance view later on of all of the discussions, the timing throughout the design, and many other aspects. But we're just getting started, so we'll stop there and just consider what we've done so far. So we have sections, our warm-up section and section 2. We've got items. The warm-up has 4 items and section 2 has 1. And we can add more sections and more items to fill out this learning design and really create a compelling learning experience. And lastly, we can use the pedagogic toolbar to define exactly what happens at each stage, and we can use color to quickly identify the things we're looking for. That's it to get started. That's enough to create a very high-level learning design in Coursensu, and there'll be other videos to talk about how to add the learning content, how to set the learning outcomes, how to look at the data that you're creating to make different informed decisions, using AI to help you make further decisions for your learning design, and how to get it out of Coursensu and into your LMS or content management system. Thanks for watching. Bye.